I'm here tonight to present a proposed draft ordinance for a pedestrian, bicycle, and trails advisory commission for the unincorporated areas of Alameda County. I'm seeking feedback on this proposed commission and will incorporate that into the final draft that will eventually go to the Board of Supervisors for approval. So this agenda item includes the staff report and the draft ordinance, so hopefully you've all had a chance to look at that ahead of time. So just to give some background information on this, the current unincorporated Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee was formed back in 2020 to provide engagement and feedback from constituents on bicycle and pedestrian issues of safety, access, and promotion of alternate modes of transportation. Their duties have included providing input and feedback for funding applications like grants, projects related to streets, bike lanes, sidewalks, safety improvements, and more. Plus, one of the main duties was giving input on the bicycle and pedestrian master plan. So Supervisor Miley proposes establishing a formal commission which will advise the Board of Supervisors directly versus advising Public Works. And just to note, this commission will take the place of the current committee. This will allow for community member empowerment as there will be more opportunity for them to set the agenda within the scope and authority, of course, of the commission. So this will result in looking at all issues related to pedestrian, bicycle, and trails, and not just select issues. So there will be definitive appointments by the Board of Supervisors with term limits on this, and an update to the bike pedestrian master plan will be coming soon. So this commission will have an active role with input on that update. As previously noted, the addition of trails was also added to this commission, as that is another important subject area for this commission to consider. And multimodal transportation is a priority. So for all those reasons mentioned, this is why we're coming forward with this proposal. And just one added note, the MACs will still have all of their authority. This commission will be similar to how other advisory bodies work with the MACs. So one example would be like the Parks and Recreation and Historical Commission. So similar to that. It will likely go to the commission first, any issue, and then their recommendations would come to the MACs. So regarding the actual duties of this commission, members would serve as the representation of the unincorporated areas of Alameda County. So that includes Castro Valley, Ashland, Cherryland, Fairview, San Lorenzo, Hayward Acres, the the part of Pleasanton that is unincorporated, and part of Livermore that's unincorporated. So as I mentioned earlier, members would provide feedback related to these issues with pedestrian, bike, and trails, more things, projects, improvements, and again, the primary goal, input on the bicycle pedestrian master plan. Members may also work with other county departments, such as, like the community development agency or the sheriffs, for instance. So regarding the structure of the commission, it'll consist of a 7-member body, 4 members from District 4, 2 members from District 3, and 1 member from District 1. And this is appropriate with the population in each district as depicted in the table included in the staff report. So, and I just want to emphasize, this advisory commission is for the unincorporated areas of Alameda County, and those 3 districts are the ones who have unincorporated areas within their district. So each member of the commission must either reside in the unincorporated area of the respective district, or they could work at or own or operate a business in that unincorporated area for a minimum of 5 years. Or another qualification could be working at a public agency that serves that unincorporated area. So that would be like maybe AC Transit or BART, for instance. So regarding the budget and some other specifics, the meetings will be quarterly and held at the Community Development Agency's public hearing room the 3rd Thursday of the month. There will be a maximum of 12 meetings annually with an additional maximum of 2 special meetings annually for a total maximum of 14 meetings annually. But again, we're starting out with the meetings being quarterly. Members will be paid a stipend of $50 per meeting, not to exceed 2 meetings per month, in addition to any reasonable and necessary commission expenses. The actual staff support will be by Alameda County Public Works Department with Board of Supervisor District 4 office assisting with the agenda, materials, and admin support as needed. More descriptive budget information is included in the staff report. Additionally, attachments were included on the staff report related to the maps of the districts that encompass the unincorporated area of the county, as well as the actual draft ordinance itself. So as stated earlier, I'm here to listen, and as this is an action item for all of you, I'll take that feedback, which will be considered in the final draft that will be presented to the Board of Supervisors. So thank you for your time and engagement on the issue. And I can stand up here to answer any questions at this time, or would you rather me come back up if needed?
What I'll ask you to do is just take a seat for a minute. We'll go to public comment. We'll
Perfect.
give you an opportunity to try to address some of the public comments back in it, so we don't end up with a, question and answer session between the internet or people at home and people in the room. And then we'll go to the council here for questions, but it's okay.
Sounds great. Okay,
So,
thank you.
do we have any speaker cards on this item?
I have no speaker cards, but I do have an online
No
speaker.
public comment for that. So, do we have anybody online?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and go online. We'll go back and forth between the rooms. So if somebody changes their mind and would like to speak. So let's go online first.
Caller, you're on the line. We're on item 7. You have 3 minutes. Lenice Ross. Unmute your microphone. Lenice Ross.
This is a mistake. I don't need anything.
Okay, thank you. Caller, you're on the line. You have 3 minutes. Bruce Castro Valley.
Hello, this is Bruce Toogie. I would like to thank you for the presentation, and I support absolutely this idea of a commission. This is something that Supervisor Miley has talked about for quite a few years. So it's great to see it finally taking off a little bit here. I think that that will be helpful in implementing, the bike ped plan. And there's a new one coming up, and so that commission would be involved in the bike ped plan that's coming up. I'm a present member of the BPAC, and so I think this is a fantastic idea, and I'm really grateful to hear about it. Thank you.
We have anybody in the room? We'll go back to the online.
I have no additional speakers for this item.
Okay, no speakers in the room, no speakers online. I'm going to close the public portion of this and go to the council for a comment. We'll start down at Councilmember Davis.
I have no comments.
Councilmember Feber.
No comments.
Councilmember Davini.
I'm going to take all of their comments because I have a lot. Sorry in advance. Alameda County currently has 100 exactly boards, committees, commissions, authorities, and districts. I had to count it twice and had my wife count it a third time there. It's exactly 100. And I think that's how many we should have, not 101. We already have an unincorporated area bicycle pedestrian advisory committee that reports to the Director of Public Works. They have meetings, they have minutes, they have transcripts, they have advocacy, and believe me, their position is represented on all infrastructure items that take place. I don't think we need a separate commission. I think that the separate commission might be at odds with the various MACs, might be at odds with the Castro Valley General Plan, the Downtown Specific Plan. So it seems like their advocacy is fantastic. They have a forum to do that, and I think it's appropriate to restrict it to within Public Works. We've had two examples here in Castro Valley where there's perhaps been at loggerheads with the MAC. One of them on Somerset, which went against the Bike Advisory Committee, and I think Public Works did a fantastic job of holding their ground and not giving up all that off-street parking for those citizens there. And of course, the other one has to do with East Castro Valley Boulevard. I would like these items to come before all of the various MACs. We're well practiced at hearing testimony, considering all the various interests that are involved in our infrastructure improvements. And so if we needed a separate body other than, I mean, they're where they should be right now at Public Works, but if we wanted them as part of an advisory committee to the MACs, I could almost see a structure. That's not before us tonight. I'm not going to try to recraft that, but I could almost see permanent standing subcommittees on each of the four MACs addressing that. But I would not be in favor of a separate commission over and beyond what they have already.
Okay, Councilmember Mota.
No comment.
Councilmember Thomas.
Thank you for your presentation. What is the plan for this commission? When is it supposed to start, and what is the timeline on this?
The timeline, well, right now, I'm presenting at each of the MACs. I did Eden area last week, and the Sunol Community Advisory Council will be this week as well. And then early September, I'll be presenting to Fairview. It will probably come back to the Unincorporated Services Committee. That's probably going to be early October. And after that, all of the input will be considered and put together in a final draft that will go to the Board of Supervisors. So depending on how full their agendas are, it's sometimes hard to get things on the agenda. And then it will be 2 readings they will have to do, assuming it would go forward. After that, of course, they have to, recruit for members, pick the members, get all that in place. So I think probably a fair estimate would be late winter, early spring, before it's actually in place and they start to meet.
As my co-council member Davini said, there is subcommittees and all the other committees out there. So can a MAC member or one of these subcommittee members be a part of this commission? I'm reading this, I'm a little confused, the guidelines.
I think, well, with the qualifications of, what somebody have to qualify to be, to apply, you have to be a resident of the unincorporated area or work or own or operate a business in the unincorporated area for a minimum of 5 years, or work at a public agency that serves that unincorporated area. So as long as you meet those guidelines, I believe you can apply, anybody can apply if they wish.
Got it. Thank you.
A little bit of clarity on that from Tona. I think she's online. I don't think you can serve on 2 commissions.
Hi, Chuck. We would need to check with council since they'll both be Brown Act commissions and get back to everybody with that answer, that formal answer.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Vice Chair Mogart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Valerie, for being here and working this. Cut to the chase, I'm with Councilmember Davini. This feels again like too much government, too much chance for creating consternation at the board. We have the BPAC that's been in existence, and that BPAC has worked with Public Works to get funding under the MTC Resolution 4108. I don't know why we need a different body. I mean, if I read the MTC guidelines and it says that the body needs to be appointed. Well, why can't we just appoint to the BPAC and have it continue to work with Public Works. I don't see the problem with that. So much of the bike pedestrian trail plan implementation involves land use issues. And we have bodies that work land use issues in the unincorporated area, the MACs, obviously, the Planning Commission, the BZA. I don't see why for land use issues that those bodies would be unconsidered and taken out of the loop, so to speak. So that's my feelings on the ordinance itself. I mean, on the wisdom of having an ordinance. As to the draft, I think on section 020, if this is going to go forward, it needs to reference that works closely with the Public Works, Planning, and other county departments. I would add the Municipal Advisory Councils and the Planning Commission. Section 030, membership and terms. To me, having someone be a part of a commission that only works in the community, does not live here, does not own a business, that's not enough skin in the game. It's too easy to do flyovers, so to speak. People need to be residents or business owners. And as far as meetings go, section 040, if this board of shall consult with the board of supervisors as that board or commission may request, I think it would be wise to have the board suggest that any commission first come through the municipal advisory councils or the planning commission before coming to the board. That way, we at least have a somewhat filtered and unified position. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you. And thank you, Valerie.
Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate you coming here. I was surprised to hear we have 100 commissions. Are they all full? No. No, don't start on that. It concerns me a little bit when they circumvent and don't go through the MAC. As Councilmember Mulgray mentioned that 2.136-.020, item C clearly exempts from coming to the MAC. It's not mentioned, which means that not much concern about making sure that the community has an opportunity to weigh in on some of these items, because this is really a land use meeting. We meet once a month or twice a month on land use, and a general purpose meeting once a month. And it seemed like to me, if there was something that wanted to happen in our particular area, that it would come and be discussed here with the public. And not in a private meeting or in a meeting at the Public Works office or any other office. It is a land use, and I can just go back quickly to the bicycle lane that was put in on Castro Valley Boulevard. Removed roughly 22 parking stalls, I believe. Was it better than 22? Yes. And those are businesses that were, several of them were given a conditional use permit or granted the build there, particularly right on the corner over here. They have no parking. And so the landlord's going to try to rent those retail spaces out with no place for anybody to park. That didn't come to the MAC ahead of time. Public Works took it upon themselves to do that work. That's very concerning here, because if you listen to the public, as we do, day in and day out, the number one issue that comes up time after time is parking in Castro Valley. It is a nightmare when you sit down and you try to do some planning in this community because we don't have parking. It concerns me when you're a retailer, and I spent 40 years, matter of fact, 30 years ago, I managed this Lucky Store here. And I really cherished when a guy or gal pulled up in a truck or a car and loaded the trunk full of groceries. I didn't get the same feeling when somebody rode in on a bicycle and took home a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread. I really think that an agenda-driven organization for bicycle, well-deserved. I mean, I love the fact that you can ride a bike and have places to ride, but I don't want to see a commission created that is agenda-driven from the standpoint could take away parking from our retailers that we desperately need. And so without it coming to the MAC for any kind of approval or stamp or endorsement, I could not support the way this ordinance is drafted currently at all. I would hope that it would go back and be relooked at and come back to us at some point in the future. Is that an opportunity for us?
Well, what I am doing is just taking all of the input and bringing that forward. And then eventually the Board of Supervisors will decide on what to do. But if I could address a couple of your things. So again, this is an advisory commission, so they can't make changes in and of themselves to do any sort of, as you, I know, realize. The reason it would go to a commission first before coming to the MAC, for instance, of a recommendation of something maybe similar to what you just described. On this Bike Ped and Trails Commission, the desire would be to get people on that commission that, are avid users of our trails, are cyclists, or maybe they bike to work. And I'll tie that in with the comment about somebody only working in the area. That's why we did put a minimum of 5 years they had to work in the area that they're going to represent. Because maybe they bike to work and they've biked to work for 5 years or more. So they would be a user of the system. And that would be the desire of what the makeup of this commission would be. People that kind of have a lot invested in bicycle, pedestrian trails issues and users of the system. So getting that input first, then Max hearing, what their input is on a particular issue. It's kind of more of the process that would make sense. So that was really the reason for that and why it would go to them first.
Right. I believe we already have a venue for that currently, and they work with Public Works on it, and then it would come to the MAC for us to hear it and talk to the community. That's already in play. It's not a commission. Commissions would circumvent this body here and go right to the Board of Supervisors because they're an advisory body to the Board of Supervisors. Unless it would come before the community here, I would have a hard time supporting this because I firmly believe that this body needs to hear what's going on. And matter of fact, there's a lot more to it than that. But, the e-bikes have really changed the complexity of bicycles. You probably don't see it here on this side of the hill, but if you head over to San Ramon, they're on sidewalks, they're in the streets, they're everywhere. And it's you don't see it here quite as much. And then, I would like to see us, even if we get down to this bicycle deal, is after we stripe a road and create a bicycle lane, that we come back and we look at it and say, how many bikes are riding in this for the parking that we just gave up? I mean, I look out right now, first off, not many people were riding the bikes in the rain. And I look out and I see the lane that we just put on Castro Valley Boulevard. And I come here frequently. I'm in and out of town all the time. I've counted 2 bikes on this road in the last 3 months. And yet we don't have any conversations about, once those lanes are painted, what we're doing about it. And I would get very concerned that without it coming to this body here, they might not know that we just granted a project that relied on the parking in front of it. I mean, the poor guy that has, or gal that has the burrito shop down there. I mean, there is no parking. And my concern is, if you create a commission, this land use may be overlooked, and because they're not going to have the whole picture of the community. And I really care about this community. And I know that we're going to have several appointees on this would be from other communities, but this is my community. So I have a hard time supporting this going forward. That's all I have to say about it. It is an action item. So I am going to, do we have any other comments from the council? So I am going to ask somebody for a motion to either amend this or move it forward, or ask something here. Councilmember Mogul or Davini?
I'd like the board to entertain a motion that the CVMAC recommends against the adoption of this proposed ordinance establishing the County Pedestrian, Bicycle, and Trail Commission. Okay. I would like to propose a motion that the CVMAC recommends against the adoption of the proposed ordinance establishing the County Pedestrian, Bicycle, and Trail Commission.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any discussion on that? Okay. First, second, let's call for roll.
Councilmember Davini,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Feebig,
Aye.
Councilmember Moda,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas,
Yes.
Councilmember Mulgrew,
Aye.
Chair Moore.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to the next item, which happens to be, I think, a hot topic for anybody that has been around Burger Island. And we have Public Works here to give us an update on it. I want to say that I've had many conversations with Public Works recently. They are constantly making changes, and I hope today from Public Works we're going to hear about something they tried today, I believe, with some signals and so on. So would you please step up here and tell us what's going on with Burger Island? And then we'll open up for public comment, and then, okay, the same program we did before. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mary Tony Maravilla, Senior Transportation Planner for the Public Works Agency, and I'm here to provide an update on Norbridge Avenue, Strobridge Avenue intersection project. This area bounded by Castro Valley Boulevard, Strobridge Avenue, Norbridge Avenue, and the Interstate 580 off-ramp has been known to experience significant congestion. Traffic circulation studies were conducted to investigate what improvements could be made. The current configuration implemented was the preferred alternative resulting from these studies. This alternative aimed to improve local circulation, improve overall capacity through the area, and improve regional access by providing alternate routes for local traffic. This new configuration has also introduced new through and turning movements, and we do recognize that these changes are currently compounding the existing traffic challenges in the area. Attached to the agenda was a brief summary that discussed the implemented changes to the lane configurations, the different elements influencing the traffic patterns, the operational challenges that we face in the area, both existing and new, the signal timing implementation issues, and how the Public Works Agency is addressing this issue. We are currently working with our traffic consultant to analyze the new traffic patterns and develop an optimal signal timing plan. And because these changes involve complex traffic patterns and signal operations, it may take several iterations to achieve optimal results. We have been trying to make some changes. There were some adjustments to the weekday timing that were done last week, I believe Friday morning, and it looks like it's improved some things. We are still working on fine-tuning the weekend timing because we did observe that there was still some backup over the weekend. We will continue to monitor performance and make adjustments as necessary to achieve the project goals. We understand the traffic challenges can be difficult and inconvenient, and we sincerely appreciate the community's patience as we work diligently to make necessary adjustments and provide efficient travel to both residents, businesses, and emergency services in Castro Valley.
Okay, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is open this up for public comment. If you'll just hang tight, I see you brought your staff with you, so maybe we'll get them up here to talk about it a little bit too. Don't hide, James. Okay. Public comments, we have cards in the room.
I have Frank Siglar, Brian Foster, Terry DeVore for this
Great.
item.
Why don't we take them in that order, but in between each one of you, I'm going to ask for someone that's at home online, okay? So, sir?
Frank Sigler.
Yes.
Frank Sigler, I'd just like to say that was a nice. Frank Sigler, thank you for your letter that you read. I have lived here all my life. I know the area tremendously well. And no matter what you do on the timing, it's never going to work. And unless you guys really stand there and look at this, the problem is that as soon as 3 cars come down that street and somebody wants to go to Wendy's or McDonald's and they stop to go in there, they have countered all of your timing and nobody can move. And as soon as those people try to go into McDonald's or Wendy's, which has always been there and are 2 of the most busiest fast food restaurants in Castro Valley, all of your traffic is backing up, no matter what timing you think you're going to change. That is your problem. That is the reason why when it was the other way around is the only way it worked. So no matter what you do, as soon as you have 3 cars lined up and nobody can turn into Wendy's and one person wants a cheeseburger, there goes 3 lights can wait until somebody can move and they can get in to get their cheeseburger. That's all I wanted to say. Until you change that out of there, you're never going to fix the problem.
Thank you. Do we have a speaker online?
Hello.
Caller, you're on the line. You have 3 minutes, Michael.
Thanks. Hi, this is Michael Drain. I live in the area and go through that intersection daily, sometimes multiple times a day.
Can you speak up a little bit? We can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Let me. Can you hear? Is this better?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Yeah, Michael Drain. I live in the area. I go through the intersection daily, sometimes multiple times a day. And first, just want to say I don't envy the team that had to work on this. That intersection is a mess. It's just so difficult with how many roads are coming together there. So it's hard. I agree with the last speaker. Just yesterday, I was in traffic just as the last speaker described. And I just don't see how adding more 2-way lanes makes it better. I think the old configuration was better. I agree that right now there's no way timing is going to solve this. And I've just seen, it seems like it's just gotten worse. It was already a tough intersection, but it just seems like it's gotten worse, and everything in the report that talks about there's no room for queuing and all of that is right on. It's just impossible. So I'd love to see a return to the old configuration. Maybe something even more creative, like taking out the two-way in front of Wendy's and making it just a one-way and a clockwise or a counterclockwise. But that's maybe a little too crazy. But just something that restores the one-way and takes out the two-way. That's creating even more backups and more lights. It just hasn't seemed like it's improved since that change. But thanks for the work on it. I know it's hard. I know it's a really difficult intersection.
Baker?
Terry DeVore, I live on President Drive, so I enter into this maze by John's Drive. The biggest problem you have is you are not educating the people on how to enter into these intersections. All you have is a green light. We're always told, green light, you can't turn left until the cars come forward. There are no left turning lights. There's no left turning arrows or whatever. Prior to the change, Stanton going south has a no turn on red. That's what needs to happen on the windy side of that intersection. The same thing is John's Drive. We need to be able to see it's okay to turn left. We hesitate. We get 5 cars per green light, and we get 2 people running the red light. And we sit in the intersection because the cars from Wendy's come out, turn right, and block the lane, waiting for us to go. We don't have a chance, period. So here's exactly what it's all written out. The other thing tonight coming here, I went to McDonald's through the drive-through. I couldn't get out of the drive-through because the car wanted to make a left-hand or right-hand turn in the center lane to go west on Castro Valley Boulevard. So not only have a problem going in to McDonald's or Burger King, you can't get out of it either anymore. So signage-wise, the people that designed it before knew what they were doing. The people now have failed us, failed the residents of Castro Valley. Thank you. I'll give you a copy.
Caller, you're on the line. You have 3 minutes. Mark. Caller, you're on the line. You have 3 minutes. Mark.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I understand what the gentleman just said about John Drive, and I don't have any experience with that. My issue has been Castro Valley Boulevard westbound. It's been backing up past, before all this construction, it would back up to Lake Chabot at commute hour, but it's been beyond that, all the way to Wisteria, Anita. I mean, it's just insane. People were driving through all the neighborhoods to get somewhere. And the reason it wasn't, traffic wasn't going anywhere is the green light at John Drive, just wouldn't stay green very long. And by the time it let traffic from Stanton on Castro Valley Boulevard westbound, the whole intersection there was full already. So you would get like 5 cars per light rotation on Castro Valley Boulevard westbound. That's ridiculous. You've got hundreds of cars backed up waiting for that. I don't know who this traffic consultant is, and we'll figure out who that is later, but I would certainly like to make sure we never use this traffic consultant again, because, we've been enduring this for weeks, months. There's no excuse for it. I went out there today at 5 o'clock and I sat there at Pee Wee Golf parking lot to see how it was going now, and they made some changes. It sounded like the planner from Public Works said they made some changes on Friday, weekday, to the weekday schedule. So today would have been the first full run on that. And there was no traffic backed up on Castro Valley Boulevard. So somebody finally figured out, hey, let's pay attention to the 2 lanes going westbound instead of all the side streets. So they had John Drive light green for over a minute. They had the light at Stanton Avenue green for over 30 seconds, and it completely emptied out all of the traffic that was backed up. So how this is affecting the side streets at this point, I don't know. But they finally fixed the boulevard situation. She said something about the weekend traffic. I don't know how that's worse than commute traffic, but maybe that still needs to be worked on. But the way they have it set it up tonight at 5 o'clock is an answer to our main traffic problem with people trying to get out of Castro Valley westbound. It was actually better than it was pre-construction. I mean, I sat there for like 20 minutes and watched several light rotations. So kudos for that, but it really shouldn't take a public hearing. It shouldn't take emails from me and Chuck and God knows who else to, Public Works Director to bring attention to this. I know Robert Souza, had hundreds of comments on his post on Facebook over this. I mean, the people of Castro Valley deserve better. And like I said, we need to figure out who this traffic consultant is because we need to make sure we never use them again. Thank you.
Dave Silva.
Good evening. My name's Dave Silva. I live off of Strawbridge Avenue in Castro Valley. I see the problem as a little different than other people. As I'm coming into the boulevard from Strawbridge Avenue, I have to make a right-hand turn lane. And the traffic from the boulevard and from John Drive pull into the intersection while it's green, and then they're stuck in the intersection. I cannot make a right-hand turn. Not only do I not want to make a right-hand turn, I want to make a right-hand turn and then turn left onto Stanton Avenue. I have cars behind me that are honking their horns, wanting me to make the right-hand turn. I need to go across the intersection so I can get to Stanton Avenue. And that is causing a problem because of the issue where people are trying to beat the red light or the green light and they're stuck in the intersection. And that is a major problem. And that needs to be fixed. And I wish the Highway Patrol was here to hear this because she did not bring that up in her conversation. Yeah. Thank you.
Brian Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the council. First, I want to say it's been 54 days since the grand opening. 54 days, right? That we've been enduring what I consider to be a great travesty or an infliction of pain upon anyone trying to drive through this area. It's been horrible. By the goals that you set out, everything is an abject failure. Everything. Everything. If you look online, and I only know about Nextdoor and Facebook, you'll find hundreds of stories of people telling the county what to do to fix it. I mean, some of the things are easy fixes. Some of the things are not, but it's certainly eminently fixable. I mean, the first thing you need to do is increase east-west traffic, get rid of the no right turns, especially the ones with bulb outs, not only here, but also the ones you're now installing on Somerset and the ones you're planning to put onto Higher. You are choking off all of our access, period. We have this pedestrian and bike commission. Maybe we need to have a drivers, parkers, and commuters commission too, because the vehicle drivers, which are 99% of us in terms of the traffic in the community, are not getting recognized. Everyone else gets priority except people trying to commute or travel or park. That's a problem that we have. So fix the problem. Whoever designed the huge triangle, that plaza, the cost of pouring all that concrete, impermeable concrete, all it does is create glare and prevent rainwater from draining into the ground. Who designed that? I mean, if you look at the plans, it looks like it's a small parklet, but it's concrete. Who in their right minds would even think of doing that? Don't ever hire those designers for anything. It's insane and stupid. So redesign what you've done. Stop what you're doing on Somerset. Don't do it on Higher. Let us live. Thank you.
Kelly Abreu.
Yeah, what I've heard today is that Castro Valley has a contrarian streak, mavericks that are very much want to go their own way and don't believe in what everybody else in the world is doing, at least everybody else in modern American cities are doing. One of the things, if you really prioritize traffic, you'd prioritize straight ahead traffic. You know, left turns and cross streets, low volume cross streets are anathema to traffic designers. You guys are pointing fingers at consultants. Why don't you look at the Public Works Agency that hired the consultants? Because you can't blame consultants. They do what they're told, they do what they're paid for. The Public Works Agency is responsible for everything that you see on the streets of Castro Valley. And your city here, so for example, a lot of these low volume cross streets like John Drive or whatever it is, just eliminate them. No cross traffic, no left turns, traffic straight ahead. That would eliminate a lot of your red lights and free up time on those traffic lights and all that. This is the most obvious thing in the world. Then another thing that Castro Valley does, you forget sometimes that you prioritize drive-throughs. You prioritize fast food restaurants. You love your drive-through windows, and that Wendy's and that McDonald's, those are you worship at the altar of hamburgers. You love to have those cars going into those places. So for you to come turn around and then say, oh, we don't like traffic going into Wendy's and McDonald's, that's crazy. You love those places, and we should shut down everything and let all the traffic go into Wendy's and McDonald's. And then let's see what else was about this thing. The bike lanes and things. You know, Castro Valley hates bike lanes. You want to get rid of all the bike lanes. I just spent a week in Portland, Oregon, and I was very impressed with their bike lanes. I think Castro Valley could do a lot if you could use more bike lanes. Just get rid of some of the cross traffic and just focus your attention on the Public Works Agency and stop worrying about consultants and things. You know, look at what is it? The guy who's holding. Look at the guy who's holding the puppet. Don't look at the puppet. Thank you.
I have no more speakers for this item.
Any other speakers in the room? Okay, no speakers online. I'm going to go ahead and close the public portion, and I will start at the end down here with Councilmember Davis.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your presentation. I'm a traffic engineer, and one of our sayings is everyone with a driver's license is a traffic engineer. It's one of the few professions that everyone experiences on a daily basis, and they know the solution. And I know it's far more complex than that. I applaud the county for trying to address the changes. I've noticed the cameras they have up for data collection. I hope the consultant does a visual simulation over an extended time period as to actually see what timing changes they're proposing affects on real life. I think the study zone should go beyond Chabot Road, Lake Chabot, actually down to Anita at least, to be looking at the traffic issues there. But you're also, people have pointed out, there are locations where we can improve the signing or make restrictions to turning movements to make it flow a little better. And another key element to all of this is enforcement. We need to have the sheriffs and CHP making sure that people aren't stopping in the box and blocking traffic and that sort of thing. And I look forward to see what changes you will be implementing as a result of all these things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fiebert.
Thank you. And thank you for coming tonight and presenting this. I know it must be difficult subject. You know, I'm in town every day. I live here. I'm down in that area regularly. And it is just a nightmare, no matter what street you're on. If you're on Castro Valley Boulevard, it's not Anita, it's San Miguel. Traffic starts at San Miguel all the way down to McDonald's. And if you're coming the other way from Hayward up Castro Valley Boulevard, I've never seen traffic that way, but now it's like way down several block lengths. It's crazy. And then, if you're coming down from like the Mesa Verde, someone talked about that big cement island. I don't know what that's doing there, but that blocked lanes. So now you have less traffic in there. I'm not a traffic control person or anything, but I think if you take lanes away, it's going to make more traffic. And it did. And, that's a huge thing of cement. It must have been very, very expensive, but I think that could have been lanes and somehow could have eased the traffic, because if you're coming down from Mesa Verde, it's a nightmare just to get out. If you're coming up to Mesa Verde, it's a nightmare to go through all those people turning into the, Wendy's or McDonald's, people coming out, people standing and parking in the middle of the intersection because they went through a yellow or a red light and they block everything. It's just a mess. I come down Cache Valley Boulevard from like Redwood Road area, and I get about halfway down there and I'm like, oh yeah, all that traffic, I can see it from here, down by San Miguel. I'll turn around, go back to Redwood Road, go down Redwood Road, cut through Baywood, just to get over to the Mesa Verde area, because I don't want to spend 20, 25 minutes, going half a dozen blocks. It is really a difficult place to drive. It's made it very uncomfortable for me, and I know many other people. The construction, I don't know why it took, I don't know how many months that took, but it took forever. And traffic was horrible during the whole construction period. I don't know why we couldn't have just did it in 60 days or 90 days. I don't know why it took, I don't know how many months, but a lot of months. So, I'm not a traffic expert, and I didn't know that you were in the business, but
Driver's license.
I have a driver's license, so I guess, it's like the backseat driver. They know they know all the things to tell the driver, but I don't know the solution, but it's not working. It's not working at all. And something needs to happen. So it's really good that you guys are here so you could hear this, and, hopefully you can do whatever you guys do. That's your job. Figure out how to make this better for the community, because obviously there's a lot of people that have concern for it. That's all for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Davini.
Excuse me. Thank you for the presentation, and more importantly, thank you for the recognition that there's a problem in trying to alter things. I appreciate the fact that you had already made some changes late last week. Thank you to everybody in the room and the folks online. There's such good ideas that are coming out, way better than I can come up with. So I don't have any recommendations for you. This is way out of my league. I wish if we had a commission that there was an ad hoc group of some of these really smart people that could go throughout Castro Valley, because Castro Valley Boulevard, Redwood Road, Somerset, higher, every major arterial road. I don't know the solutions, but I wish that would get a group of citizens that wanted to improve Castro Valley traffic. All of these meetings are recorded. If you didn't catch some of the names of the smart people that called in, listen to the meeting, and see what you guys can do. I can't do it. Some of the people on the board certainly can, but it's just a stranglehold on our daily life. So thank you.
Councilmember Mota.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I kind of feel I just stay away from that area altogether. I went there one time and I got confused on even where to go. And so I didn't even go back. I haven't been, I take the freeway to get around. I just get on the freeway and I bypass that whole section. When my kids want McDonald's or Wendy's, I send my poor mom and she's like, oh my God, I don't know where to go. So I send my mom. That's how I'm like terrified to even go back there. And then I'm looking at all of these project implementation changes. And I'm like, okay, now I need to read this and then drive and then figure out where do I need to go based on these new things, right? So now I'm even more intimidated by the additional changes from what I've already experienced early on. So I just hope you guys get it together and figure it out. I mean, and then, yeah, that's all I can add is my own personal experience. And then I think everyone shares the same sentiment of being kind of confused and driving in that area. That's all I have.
Councilmember Thomas.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. I haven't heard one positive comment about this new improvement from, people who are talking about Facebook, all these social media stuff. Everybody's upset. And I know one of the lines here says, these new movements were introduced as part of a broader effort to create an alternative route for local traffic and improved overall circulation. Just nothing has improved. Nothing has improved. Our overall circulation has got worse. Efficiency in the area, there's nothing efficient about this. So when you make a change in such like a Burger Island, the traffic was bad there anyways in the first place. So when you make a change like that, you got to make sure like 200% that it's going to help the people in Castro Valley. If it doesn't, then you got to go back to the old way. Something was working before. So this is not working because all I hear is complaints. And I'm sorry I'm putting it that way, but it's just we are Castro Valley. We love Castro Valley, and we only have a Castro Valley Boulevard. We have burgers there, and I love my burgers, okay? But it has to make sense. The traffic has to flow. And like you said, it has to improve. Otherwise, go back to the old way. Thank you.
Vice Chair Mulgrew.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Maritoni. Two things are plain. As the project opened to the public, it didn't work. And second thing is that Public Works has acknowledged a problem and is taking steps to make things better, and that's appreciated. I think, a caller said Castro Valley deserves better. I agree with that 100%. And to that end, I think this council should see data from the traffic study that's in process sooner rather than later. And I think the community needs to be given that information as well. Like has been said, I have a driver's license, but nobody would call me a traffic engineer. In fact, the license is questionable, but no, just kidding. Yeah, I really would like to see before and after data. I mean, I'm certain that Public Works was tracking things as the project opened, and I'd like to see the information from that compared to the traffic after the change. This first round of changes have been made, which someone said seemed to be having a good impact. So I'm also concerned about that intersection when the proposed car wash goes in there and 360 trips a day are planned. And I'd like to know that that's being thought about as we're doing things. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I know this is probably going to be was a hot seat for you to even show up. When I spoke to Public Works on, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, and said, hey, we really need you to come and get in front of the community here. This is a pretty important road. It's a gateway to our community. We already struggle with parking, and now we're struggling with parking on the road because cars are not moving. I don't know what it would take, but is there any way that somebody from Public Works could be on site for the next week every day and just take some notes and come back with working with a consultant? Somebody said earlier about consultants, they often say, I'll stand by the drinking fountain and listen to everybody, and that's what I'll come back with your plan. you know, I don't want to say they're quite like that, but I really believe that hands-on eyes in the place would be very helpful. I mean, if you had a public works person standing out there in a orange vest and a hat on and said, I'm here to try to solve this problem, I think it would go a long ways in the community. At least they know that the problem was being addressed. I think there was a fear that things were being ignored and just letting it go. And I know that our public works department is not like that. I happen to have worked with several of the folks in the past, and it just, I hate to see you get a black eye for not paying attention. And when we need to pay better attention. So if there's something you guys or your group could do as far as being on site, making some notes, and then maybe coming back to this council with the changes. I'm a firm believer in results. You know, don't confuse effort with results. And so we need to get away from the effort and get down to the bottom of results. This is our gateway to our community, probably the most important intersection in our community, and we need it to be addressed in that manner. So is that something that we can count on you guys doing?
That has actually started, and that was part of why changes were made. We have had our consultant out there observing. James is out there a lot. I go through there every day just to see what happens, what's happening out there. Several other staff members have driven through there and have been giving us their feedback internally. So we are aware, but the traffic consultants have been out there observing and making the tweaks. And that's why you're able to see some improvement, but they're not done yet. So.
No, we appreciate the effort, and I understand talking to your director that you guys were making some changes in the timing of the lights and things like that. I just hope somebody's out there measuring the results of those changes so that we can get it done quicker. And, you know, two kinds of people in the Old West, that's the quick and the dead. So let's get it done.
Yep. Part of
Okay.
it was they wanted to wait until school started to get a more accurate, well, to make an accurate, well, that's the thing.
I'm sorry, what was that?
To get a more accurate count of what, like, the worst case scenario of when there's school traffic. So.
Yeah, we're not traffic engineers. We're just results people. So we're just going to kind of hold you accountable for coming up with some results on this. Even of our land use meeting, we have public comment prior to, and again, if it's not on the agenda, anybody in this room is more than welcome to come to our land use meeting and speak to that item if it's not improving. And we can get back to you, because I know that your group wants to improve it. You got a great group of people that I've worked with in the past. We just need to pay a lot better attention to it and see if we can't get it resolved a lot faster. If that's, you know, and I'm sure we can get it done now. If not, let's go back to what we had before. I mean, you know, so anyway, any other comments from the council? Okay. Thank you for coming. Yes, 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 I will reach out to the director and see if we can't get him back. Matter of fact, is he online? I know he's back east somewhere because I was trying to get him here tonight. And it was 3 hours from now, so he's probably, no. So,
I don't know.
yeah, he's at a conference or something. Okay, we'll share with, this is not ended, okay? Let's just say that. So anyway, thank you for coming. James and the group, thank you guys for coming up. So I am going to close this portion of this item. And let's see, let's go on to the chair's report and the council comments. Let's go to council comments. We have any council comments? I think don't we have a fall festival coming up here?
Yes.
Okay, isn't that something like September?
September 7th.
September 7th, we have a fall festival. Okay. Great. Let's not forget about it. Be nice to all be here. Yeah.
Cruise night is this Saturday.
Cruise night,
Yeah, August 23rd.
unmuffled cars and everything okay? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, cruise nights, I guess, is coming up this Saturday. I hope people that want to cruise can get out and cruise. And do we have any staff reports? Tona, you're on the line.
Nothing for me, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming, and meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.